So next game, it's still Tal Memorial in Russia. You can see here Luke McShane 27. So that's probably his best rating. I don't think he got or stayed over 27. Really, he was more of a 2600 player, I think. But we have seen he defeated Magnus once already, so he can definitely play good chess sometimes. Okay, so get an analysis here. McShane, he's playing Spanish. And as I said, maybe was it last night? It was against Alexander Grishuk 2 videos ago. This kind of at least at this time, this kind of a play from Magnus, it was a sign that he wanted probably to play the Marshall, because I'm not really sure if he already worked with Jan Gustafsson back here, but he was, I think for some time Magnus was a strong Marshall player and knew all the theory because of his excellent memory. And Gustafsson is known Knight of Expert. I also think Aronian was also pure, and I think Aronian has always been a pure Marshall Gambit player. So, and I think Aronian and Gustafsson also worked a lot together on that opening. Okay, so let's see. And because yeah, you know how the Marshall Gambit starts. So because white doesn't want it, he tries to take here, which is playable thing. It's a bit like a delayed, like here you could also take, but instead you play some more moves. And I guess one of the reasons is that, let's say we do the same here. Yeah, there is some alternatives for black here basically. Often they maybe do like this, but now the knight is already here, so it's not this comfortable f6 move is not available, for example, in the way the game went here. So that's the idea, I think. And in the regular exchange variation, it's normal to try to go for this endgame, but this doesn't work now because it loses a pawn. But maybe later to try to go for an endgame, something like go for an endgame, but it's not possible right now. So instead, white does this d3. It's a little bit of a slower move, and Magnus has to move his knight again. These kind of lines is also quite interesting sometimes. I think seems like it doesn't work here, but in many lines black can play like this. For example, let's see if we like this. And now, for example, black, this is popular way to play for black, something like this. Maybe it doesn't do very much right now, but it's something that you should have seen, that yeah, that this is like often just winning for black. So it's one way that black can play, but Magnus shows the more solid positional variation here. So let's see how the game went. Just short castling and try to play this one. Magnus is also a Berlin player, and this is a bit like a Berlin type of position here, especially if when white plays that endgame with d4 and queen d4 and trades. For example, here I think it's possible to play this endgame, something like this. But yeah, it's okay for black, but sometimes white tries an endgame like this. So let's see what happened. And now Magnus decides to prevent that possibility altogether. And this is typical setup. Black wants to go here and maybe provoke c3 and then start to doubling on the d file to pressure this pawn. So it's like a classical maneuver, because it's just hard to find a plan here both for white and black. So it's like well tested that this is the correct setup for black, but yeah, white didn't play so good. He just played random moves here. I don't really understand the plan, but this is like this kind of a setup that Magnus has gotten now. It's like the recommended way to play this tabia, and tabia is a typical position in Russian. So he decides to take. Computer thinks this is also a bit interesting. I would like to try this kind of a game for white. It looks like a King's Indian with colors reversed. So the computer actually doesn't like to allow that, and he prefers to take, to not allow that that f5, g4, g5, rook g1 kind of kingside attack. But Luke doesn't go for that for some reason. He takes instead. Okay, so this pawn is weak and isolated, but because this knight is so active, it's fine position for black. And he's going around with his knight here. I don't know, it's just wasting time for white, but it's just hard to find a plan for both players here in this position. And now white does this move that black has like wanted to provoke. Don't really understand why, but he did it. And why can't he take here now? I see, the queen is getting trapped in the middle of the board. That's cute tactic by McShane. Okay, so that explains. It explains why Magnus did not take. Okay. Yeah, another problem with this c3 is that this queen side get weak. It's just like in the Berlin that white queen side is often getting very weak, and because no white squared bishop, and for some reason it get like it doesn't make any like logical sense, because like it's similar size of pawns, but these kind of doubled pawns and lines it just makes white's king side a bit weak. But yeah, it's no big deal, but at least not right now. It's no big deal for white. Okay, and here quite a weird thing happens. He goes here and loses the pawn. It's possible to play here and defend the pawn for sure. I guess he was afraid of this one, but yeah, it's a little bit weird. He gives up this pawn, and then he really need to find something tactically here, because center and position is collapsing. Okay, and he goes back. You won already such an important pawn, so reason to be greedy and take c3 too. And of course, McShane should try to attack, because positionally, pawn down, like he's in a bad position, so he should definitely go all out for the attack, because if he did Rook d2, he could still play passive, like positionally, and like have an even game. But now he has to go for the attack here. And for some reason, computer doesn't like that. It likes h3 first. I don't really understand why. Yeah, I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Let's look at that. I see. Okay, so if I understand it correctly, White cannot play this line now because of this and its mate here. So White needs to waste a tempo. So if he goes here, then maybe sometimes he can sack this one because he got luft. But the logical move for black is to take this pawn, but then it's no longer, he no longer has play against, like his queen is no longer attacking f1. So let's see, he says, let's just do a random move here. Like this one was something that they liked. So let's see here. Yeah, now you can do this one because it's because this is undefended, so that's also bad. Let's go here instead then. Here, here, here. Okay, yeah, so in this position, if the pawn was on h2 here, then rook f1 would be mating. So this would not work for White. So that's why White had to get luft with luft. It means air in Swedish, and he gets briefing air. The White king gets briefing here, so he doesn't get suffocated on the first rank. I see, that's interesting. So he did this anyway, and now it's not possible. He wants to do knight g5, but doesn't work, so he has to go with this one. And after take, of course, he would like to do that one, but it's not possible, so he has to do like that. And why king g7 here? Don't really see why that's the best. Okay, yeah. I don't understand king g7, why that's such a good, so good. Okay, I don't understand it. Whatever, let's just move on. Yeah, white doesn't have so much attack anymore. This one looks better. Then, because this might be annoying, this check and then knight here sometimes, so he should take, maybe something like that. Yeah, and it's still this problem. This is still big problem. This pin here. Okay. So he decided to defend here, but it's, yeah, as I said, it's a little bit too late for white to try to defend this position because he lost this important central pawn. Okay, rook f4 is not so liked. Okay, one advantage with this retreat is now you can move the knight, so let's see what happens. So here he could do this. Okay, so this one is threatened, so he has to defend it. And then takes here. Yeah, white wins back the pawn actually with this line. Yeah, then the position is quite even here. So he had chances there. So this one is apparently a blunder. But Magnus didn't see the best here. The reason it's a blunder, it's because black can take here. And take one more pawn. What could Magnus have missed? Why didn't he take the pawn? It must have been something to do with knight g5. And then he can go here and defend the bishop anyway. And compared to the other line, white had his e4 pawn left, so this is just much better for black, of course. Okay, and now he can do this one. He can't take here because he take the knight, of course. He has to. See, and black has pawn up and active pieces. This one is actually in a bit of a danger to getting trapped. It's in danger to getting trapped sometimes. So yeah, this looks like a winning position for black here. Okay, so instead he played this one. Yeah, the computer will always do h3 and getting luft, so it just shows how important it is to lufta, because you will often need it later. Okay, and here is the decisive mistake by white. Apparently this is correct to give up a piece like this. Let's see that. It's not giving up a piece, it's blocking this one so you can take like this. Okay, so he managed to transform the position, but yeah, still doesn't look very good for white, because surely two pieces is better than the rook here, especially as there are some, especially now after f4, keeping the lines closed for the rooks, and good chances for attack with f3, knight h4, bishop here somewhere, maybe bishop g4 and then f3. So it's definitely good for black anyway. So yeah, maybe it was lost anyway, so let's see what happens. Yeah, this one is threatened, so you want to go back. I see, it's getting blocked. This piece is getting trapped now, actually. It was already trapped here. Why can't you take here? Okay, because of this. So you have to, but when you do this one, you start the threat of taking the knight. So white has to do something sharp here, or he's just losing this knight next move. Because if you just do something here, let's just do something like this. Then you can take, because yeah, this white king side is just too weak to play like that. Okay, then I understand a little bit better that this knight is in trouble here. But it's not threatened now, I think, because I think knight e6 will be good. But yeah, white has to do something. Actually, yeah, it went bad for white here. White had such an dominating position on the king side here with the queen and stuff, but now it's black's rooks that are... Black has more control over the king side now, actually. So let's see what happened. Computers also say it's dead lost, nothing here for white. So I tried to take that and then go back. But this check is nothing, he can hide here. Okay, so it's yeah, full piece up for black. So easy win. Okay, nice game by Magnus.